Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
The OnCourse podcast is an IVM production, and if you enjoyed the show, you should check out the Pragati podcast. If you need a break from the madness of primetime television, join hosts Pavan and Hamsini for some real conversations about politics and economics.
You're listening to the OnCourse podcast.
Hi everyone, welcome to the OnCourse podcast. OnCourse is a creative and alternate education company that aims to bridge the gap between formal classroom education and real-world skills. We offer a range of programs from short skill-based courses to test prep to application assistance for those who are looking to study abroad. My name is Alisha Mashruwala. I'm the CEO and co-founder at OnCourse. Today I have with me Aishwarya Vadwani, who is an associate at OnCourse but also a graduate of the London School of Economics and Political Science. Hi Aishwarya.
Hi Alisha.
So I think today we're going to continue our alumni series where we're going to learn a little bit about LSE and a little bit about Aishwarya's experience at LSE, and she could probably break some myths or kind of give some insights into, what students should look at when they're considering a college like that. So just to begin, Aishwarya, give us a little bit of background. So why did you choose LSE in the first place?
So I primarily chose to go to LSE because it was so well renowned and it had such a good brand name, and I thought that if I went there I would get, a stellar education in terms of academics. I also chose it because it was close to home, considering it was just, a 8 to 9 hour flight. Also, I really like the city of London. So I think all these reasons together is kind of why I chose to go to LSE.
So when you applied to college, had you considered options outside of the UK as well, and then you finally narrowed down to LSE?
Yes, so I had applied to a couple of colleges in the US, around 10 or 12, and I applied to 5 colleges in the UK. And so after I got all my decisions, I just, weighed all my options and then finally picked LSE.
So when at LSE, what exactly did you study?
So at LSE, I studied international relations, where in my first year, I studied modules like Intro to IR, an Intro to Economics, an Intro to Sociology, and Foreign Policy Analysis. The good thing is they give you groups from which you can choose the classes you want to do. So everyone had a bit of flexibility in terms of what classes they wanted to choose, although they were in the same group.
So international relations is something that a lot of people talk about before they go to college, but not everyone really knows exactly what the course entails. So when you were applying to LSE, were you sure about wanting to study IR?
So I had this idea of IR in my head, but then when I actually went to college, I realized that it's very different from what you think IR will be when you're in grade 11 and 12. So it's not anything like a MUN. And it's not just reading the newspaper and learning about like global affairs. It's a lot more of theory. It's a lot more learning how, history has shaped theories that help us make decisions today. And it's in fact very interdisciplinary. So it has a bit of economics, it has a bit of history, sociology, and all of this kind of comes together to build the course that is IR.
Okay, and I guess that's really difficult for an 11th grader or 12th grader to really know.
It's extremely difficult because I feel like that would be the case with a lot of courses though, because unless you're in college, you won't really know what it is. You'll only have an idea of what it should be.
So for anyone who wants to potentially study IR, would you say that, liking courses similar to economics, history, sociology is sort of a good indication for that?
I feel like if you like history, you love IR, and I also feel like, if you love politics in general, just learning about politics, you love IR, because the better you are updated with world events, the more you'd be able to contribute to class discussions, the more you could maybe, bring in real-time events into your essays and compare them to events that happened in the past, and things like that. So if your interest lies in the area of politics and history, I feel like international relations would be a good fit for you.
And so like you said, in the first year, you had sort of a core curriculum, a core module that sort of everyone took those classes. How is the course structured after that?
So at LSE, you have to take 4 courses in the whole year. We have 3 terms: the Michaelmas term, the Lent term, and the summer term. So you do the same class in the Michaelmas term and the Lent term, and the summer term is basically just the term you give exams in. You don't actually study anything that term. So you have, out of the 4 classes you have to take, say maybe 2 would be compulsory for your course, and then like I was saying, you'd have 2 groups to choose from, and then you could mix and match the remaining 2 classes. So in my 3rd year, I ended up even taking a contemporary literature class because I just requested, the faculty because I was interested in literature and they obliged. So if you kind of want to get a taste of different subjects, at LSE they are accommodating in the sense that if you write to them, they may allow you to do so.
Okay, and in general, being in the UK, I guess it's very important to know that this is what you want to study, so because you can't change your mind.
Yeah,
right?
That's the most important thing. I feel like when you're in grade 10, 11 and 12 and you just hear this statement that you can't change your course, I feel like it should really sink in, because you shouldn't even have a moment of doubt that, oh, maybe this is not what I want to study, because then you're losing 2.5 years of your life.
Yeah, I guess you would have to restart completely.
You'd have to completely restart. And there were a lot of kids at LSE who actually did restart. So they maybe did a year of law and realized they don't like it, and they had to restart and reapply to LSE and say maybe start with econ. So it's not the end of the world, of course, restarting. But, if you're not from the UK especially, you kind of don't want to waste that whole year of tuition and accommodation and just being away, I guess.
Absolutely. So what were some of your favorite classes that you took while you were doing IR at LSE?
So I really liked my class on international organizations and how they functioned. I really liked all my economics classes, and when I went to college I found out that economics was something I really liked. I liked my economic history class because it spoke about history from the sense of how money evolved, from maybe say the gold standard to the way we deal with money today. I also liked my sociology class because it was something I'd never studied, so it was really interesting to learn.
Nice. And while at LSE, everyone talks about sort of it being one of the best universities in the world. Did you feel any sort of academic pressure or anything while you were there?
It is so pressurizing, definitely. So the thing with the UK is that your assignments throughout the year don't really count for much. It all boils down to the final exams in the summer term. So honestly, for a month and a half or 2 before exams, we would never go out. So my flatmates and I would be in the library for days at end. And it was very, very intense because everyone there is honestly very intelligent, and you really have to give it your best shot if you want to get a good grade.
Is it very competitive in terms of the student body, or is it more just the pressure that, people put upon themselves?
I feel like all the students at LSE are very nice and welcoming. So I don't feel like student body puts any pressure on you, but it's just, how hard the exam is going to be. You know how rigorous the curriculum at LSE is. So I also feel like the kind of student admitted at LSE would just be studying.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I guess they'd be the academic student.
They wouldn't just leave things and not do them.
And I guess a little bit about the campus and the location, simple things like that. So it's located in London.
Yeah, it's in the heart of London. You have to get out of Holborn Station, and it's a 5-minute walk from there. So, in fact, it's not a private campus. Anyone can really walk through the LSE campus because it's so central. It's right by the Strand, so if you walk for another 5 minutes, you'd see the theatre where the Lion King Broadway show is held. And, you're pretty close to Leicester Square. So it's a really nice campus in terms of location. And, well, if you're in the City of London, everything's kind of at, your feet. So you could do anything, you could go anywhere. So that was really convenient.
Do you feel like, because a campus experience is very different from a city college experience, so did you like the idea of being in the main city, or do you sometimes feel like, going to a campus university might be a better fit for some people?
I feel like I really like being in a city because I'm someone who may have just got bored in a small town. And I love the fact that I could travel weekends to Europe. There were so many amazing restaurants and clubs to go to. And also London always has something going on. So there's either an event in a park, or there's just like amazing night markets that you could go and have dinner at, or flea markets, and so many concerts. And the shopping is great.
I think that everyone loves London for the shopping.
Yeah, I really liked it. And everyone, from India or from other places of the world who, you would be friends with would always stop by in London. So that would be nice. But coming back to LSE, I feel like I really did, in fact, enjoy having a city college. But of course, sometimes I missed having a campus. Not that I know how it feels, but I would have liked a campus, but not forever, I think.
Okay. So we're in conversation with Aishwarya, and we'll be back after a short break.
Hi, I'm Ambika.
And I'm Hoshna.
Come journey with us around India as we chat about new and offbeat destinations, from secret islands to village stays, give you travel tips and advice. discuss all the yummy and weird food we've sampled, and induce some serious wanderlust.
So tune in to the Rediscovery Podcast.
New episodes out every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app you like.
So we're back in conversation with Aishwarya. She was talking about LSE and her experience in the campus being in London, of course. So a little bit more about sort of student housing and those kind of things. So does everyone live in campus housing, or do most people stay off campus?
So there is no housing on the campus. There is, so all the first years have houses they can stay at, but none of those houses are on the campus. They're all like a 10 to 30 minute walk away. So you have houses like Holborn House, Car Saunders, Bankside. They're all just spread out across the city of London, in fact. So in your first year, you apply to any of the houses that you want to live at, and then LSE just decides which one they assign you to. So that's in your first year. In your second year, you aren't allowed to live in LSE housing. So you have to move out. You can either live in student accommodation where students from all universities are allowed to live. That's a very popular option. Or you could get an apartment with friends. So in your second and third year, you typically do this, wherein as in your first year, you'd live in LSE housing. But however, if you want to, save money in terms of housing, because housing in London is so expensive, you could maybe get a job on campus or at an LSE house, and this would enable you to live at an LSE house in your second and third year.
So when you went to college, I guess you lived on in campus housing the first year.
Yeah.
Your second and third year, did you choose to live in an apartment with your friends, or did you choose sort of student housing that was available?
So in my first year, I lived at Car Saunders, which was right off Warren Street. So that took me around 25 minutes to get to LSE, and I would walk every day. In my second year, I lived in a public student housing building called Liberty, where there were students from all universities like King's, Cass, LSE, Imperial, etc. And in my third year, we got a flat, which was really nice. I, in fact, enjoyed the flat experience the best.
Okay, interesting. And while at LSE, besides the academic bit, what are some of the organizations that you were a part of? Any clubs, any events that you did?
So sports is actually pretty big at LSE. This LSE Sporting Union, it's very inclusive, and if you're good at sports and if you get to be a part of an LSE team, you'll have a great time at LSE. The Indian Society is also pretty big. I was the events head for the Indian Society, and there would be like a Diwali party every year, and tons of different events on like Republic Day, Independence Day, and things like that. So that was really nice. There was also my favorite was maybe this club called RAG, which is short for Raising and Giving, through which you just do crazy things and raise money for charity. So I climbed Kilimanjaro through this organization, and I think that was maybe my best experience at LSE, where there were 50 of us who raised around £3,000 each, donated it to a charity called Dig Deep, which works towards causes of sanitation in Kenya. And after we raised this money, we all climbed Kilimanjaro and then chilled in an island for a week after.
That sounds amazing.
That was really nice.
So in the summer holidays, how did you spend most of your time? Did you do internships, or did you do interesting things like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro?
So one summer I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and the other summers I interned. Yeah.
Okay, and what kind of internships did you do?
So I did an internship with a news channel, and I did another internship with a marketing and advertising firm, just to check out what I like and what I don't.
Okay. And at LSE, do you feel like a lot of students do get involved in a lot of activities, or is it a lot more academic than you would imagine?
No, I feel like there's a lot going on campus, and with LSE, it's the kind of rule of thumb to, if you're a student there, is that you can't just sit back and expect them to come to you. If you're proactive at LSE, you're going to have an amazing time. But if you're someone who needs, their hand to be held, you're not going to like it at LSE.
And are the class sizes very big?
No, the class sizes would be around 10 to 12 students.
Even your first year classes?
Even my first year classes. So the way LSE works is there's seminars, which have like 70 to 80 people, which is like a lecture. And then all those 70 to 80 kids get split up into classes where you discuss what was spoken about in the seminar.
So you kind of broken up into smaller discussion groups, and then you can go with that.
So you have the lectures once a week and the classes once a week.
Okay.
So you do get that one-on-one time with the professor. Also, you have the option of office hours, and they're very accommodating. So like I was saying, if you're proactive and you want to go and meet your professors, they're always there for you. It's just that you have to take the first step at LSE.
And in terms of sort of the career center or student job opportunities, sometimes with larger colleges, people find that they're not as effective or not as helpful. Did you find anything like that, or did you feel like that was something that was quite easy for you to get into?
I feel like if you want to get into banking, LSE is just brilliant in terms of job opportunities because there's so many banking fairs. I think every 2 weeks there would be a different bank or a different financial firm coming to LSE. I think in terms of other careers, they weren't that great.
Okay, and I think that's just maybe a function of the career as well. It's difficult too.
I think so.
And after LSE, you came back to India. What exactly did you do for your first year while you were here?
So for the first 5 months, I worked in Delhi with the Ministry of External Affairs, and I worked in the Economic Diplomacy Division.
So that sounds interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I was basically making energy efficiency reports. I was shadowing the secretary of the Economic Diplomacy Division on his conferences, on his meetings. And I was just really learning how the government works. I was working in Rashtrapati Bhavan. And it was a very, enriching experience.
That's great. Thanks, Aishwarya, for telling us a lot about LSE. And I'm sure students who do want to go there will probably have a lot more questions. So if you guys have any more questions or if you need any more information, you can contact us at info@oncourseglobal.com, or you can visit our website, www.oncourseglobal.com, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out
IVM Podcasts
to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.